where the trees at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got you.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag and Underdog Fantasy. The biggest betting weekend of the year is finally here, which means more updated odds and props for Super Sunday. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. We have hundreds of prop bets, MVP odds, and exclusive in-game live betting. BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline offers you everything and more to enhance your game day experience. Visit the website today and make the game day action count a little bit more. BetOnline, the game starts here. Want to make some quick cash while enjoying the big game with your family and friends? Together with our friends at Underdog, we got a few exciting things to share with you. First, if you've yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code CHIEFCONCERNS, that's one word, to claim your free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to 1,000 smackaroos in bonus cash. New users will also get a Travis Kelce free pick for every new customer who signs up on Underdog before the big game. Secondly, for all existing Underdog users, Underdog is offering a no-sweat Sunday entry for all users, which means that everyone will either cash in on their big game entry or get their money back in bonus credit. If you have no idea how to play, well, we got you covered. Over the last 5 weeks, we have given 19 selections and have cashed on 15 of them. Pretty good. Predicting higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. So we are ready to continue this heater into the big game between the Chiefs and Eagles and beyond into the NBA season. So let's make this money and have a damn good time. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns, your post-game show following the Super Bowl loss. I'm Marcus Dash. Right there in the middle is former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn and my brother Teja Dash on the right there. So not the game we wanted, not the game we expected. Congratulations to the Eagles organization, the fan base over there in Philadelphia. Well deserved. They kind of dominated us today. Obviously, you guys know how the postgame show works. There's a lot of things to discuss tonight, but in usual fashion, JD, Teja, what are your initial comments on everything that we saw tonight?
I tell you this, I don't think anybody expected this at all. Not even Philadelphia Eagles. And if somebody said they did, they'd be lying to you. Just be realistic. I didn't expect us to play as poorly as we did up front on the offensive line. And also, too, Patrick as well. Obviously, he was under a lot of pressure just bringing four. And that's what we were getting beat by. We get beat by four guys up front. It wasn't a blitz. It wasn't an extra guy. It was four. And sometimes it's 4 against 5. Sometimes it's 4 against 6. And we just got beat. Plain and simple. There's no other way to say it other than we got our asses handed to us today. But I will say this. It's always hard when you deal with a game, especially a magnitude as this, especially what could have been, what we were expecting as far as chasing history, setting history, having a legacy, something that nobody's ever done. And me just kind of looking over that, I think that way was that some of the heaviness that guys might have felt? I don't know, could have been. Guys look relaxed all during the week. So you look at moments like this, you just played a football team that was hungry. And they were relentless in their pursuit. And the way that they attacked us, you could see it was there was a method into what they were doing. And like I said, they was going to drop 7 in coverage. That's what they did. So you didn't like they flooded all the zones, and it caused Pat problems. So, hell of a season. Hell of a season. I wish it had been different. I wish we had finished this thing out like I know we should have done. I know those guys are severely disappointed in their performance, but the Eagles played a hell of a game, man. They played a hell of a game. So my hat's off to them for their performance, becoming Super Bowl champs. So that's where I'm at.
Tish, what are your thoughts before we kind of dig into this whole thing?
First off, if this meme is correct, we were reigning champs for 728 straight days. Okay, so don't get too upset for a 728 to 1 ratio. Okay, we're used to winning, and when you're used to winning, one loss. If you're used to winning all the time at everything, losing a game at Parcheesi is going to piss you off. Okay, so losing the Super Bowl just stings like hell, and it should. And I hope it stings like hell for the players more than it stings like hell for us. And if it stings like hell for us, they're never going to get over this. And it's a rough loss. It should feel rough. This is what happens, as we've seen in our prior Super Bowl wins, when 2 really, really good teams, 2 of the best teams in the league, which I do believe they were, when 2 of the best teams in the league both play great, you go down to the wire, right? When one plays great and one plays pretty good, you're going to get beat. You're going to get beat by maybe 1 or 2 possessions. When one great team plays the best they possibly can, and one great team plays the worst game they possibly can, you're going to get your ass beat. It's not going to be close. You can't cover up for that. There's not a play that you can run. There's not a magic series that's going to put you on the right track. As cliche as it is when it's not your day, and when you're just playing terrible on all levels. And actually, I take it back, not all levels. Our defense played really well, considering the circumstances too. But when your offense plays as bad as it does, it's hard to combat. It's hard to combat that. It really is. I'm not going to say the sky's falling. People that say they want to blow up the roster, start from scratch, reboot, that's ridiculous. Here's a newsflash, everyone out there. We have the same problems we have next season. We had that whether we won or lost today. Our next year outlook's the exact same. We didn't get cap space for winning or losing. We have the same deficiencies we had yesterday and today. Like, one game didn't expose anything. We were getting away with a left guard playing left tackle for a very long time, and it didn't work against the best defensive line, and arguably one of the best defensive lines in the league. And the problem with having a left guard playing left tackle is when he's not playing well enough to win, that means you have 2 downside O linemen. You have the left guard who is outmatched against the D tackle, and you have a guy right next to him who's outmatched against the D end. So you have 2 right there. So when Tooney's not playing well, you have 2 guys on the left side who are overmatched. You just can't you can't overcome that. So terrible loss. We got our ass beat, and got a lot of things to work on. Got a lot of things to add. We have a lot of work to do in the offseason. But that work was happening either way. There's a reason why I've been doing mock drafts for the past few weeks. There's a lot of work to be done either way, whether we won or lost this game. It sucks to be doing it off a loss. Now maybe it gives us a little more, maybe instead of winning this game, obviously I'd rather have won this game. But since we did not win this game, now we can't say, well, we can get away with it. We can get away with having that guy there. No, you can't. Right. I mean, you can get to the Super Bowl maybe, but that's not the goal, is it? And I think all these guys know this isn't good enough today, and there's no excuses in the offseason.
Well, look, man, we were 15-2 for a reason, and really, because we didn't have the other starters at the 1, could have easily been 16-1. So for me, we do have a dominant team. the two most deserving teams played today. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think anybody disagrees with that at all. And if they do, then they're crazy. They are. They're absolutely crazy. It's all about what have you done for me lately? What did you do this game? Okay.
Yeah.
And let's just compartmentalize everything to just this game in itself, right? Because like you said, even if you talk about offseason, what's true, you still had to deal with the left tackle issue. You still had to deal with it, right? There were still things that got exposed that you said to say, well, maybe we're just not, solidified there as we should. But we just talking about the game in itself, right? They had a spectacular season. Absolutely, 1,000%, 100. I'm right there with it. So I'm just saying, these guys are special. They just didn't play good today. They didn't.
Yeah.
Philly played better.
And our opponent played amazing.
Yeah. So when we look at it, okay, and I'm like you, it's not a sky is falling type of deal. This is not what this is. Okay. We're just talking about the game in itself, right? So that's what I want to talk about. We know we still have the best quarterback in football. There's no doubt about it. You think because he had a bad performance, probably one of his worst performances, that he's not still the best quarterback in football? You'd be stupid to say something like that. I'm sorry. Crazy. Okay. Be idiotic. Do not think that you still have one of the best tight ends that ever played a game, if not the best tight end, right? You'd be silly to say you didn't. Do you still think we don't have the best defensive tackle in the league? The past 5, 6, however long Chris has been in the league. And man, you'd be silly. That'd be silly talk. So we could talk about just the performance in itself today, which I think is what we're doing. And I want to make sure that we understand that's what the conversation is. Okay. Moving into the off season is a whole different thing, right? We should still support the guys 1,000%, 100%. We know they're a great team. We know this team had the capability. If they didn't catch us on our worst day, we would have been three-peat champs. Yeah. Hey, this is how the ball went this today. Okay, we didn't have a good outing. We had pressure. We didn't do such a great job. All right, so we had to still and talk about our performance. But we, like you said, 700-something days. You said we were Super Bowl champs. That's why I was sitting there saying, like, man, we have been in 5 Super Bowls in 6 years. Are you kidding? The fact that everybody, I got text messages from people I knew from Philly. Okay. And they soaking and basking in this win.
Yeah.
As they should. But it's like, make no mistake about it. If something else had happened, just the ball bounced a different way, y'all would have been crying. It'd have been a whole different thing. So this is how these Sundays went. But nobody expected for it to go like this. Somebody could be, well, we thought the Chiefs were going to lose. Okay, you could have thought that. Do you think they were how many ever points better than the Chiefs? Hell no. Absolutely not. Why? Because we watched them play all year. And nothing gave an indication that they were better than us. Sorry. For me, sorry. I know their defense was good. I knew they were good. But we're the Chiefs. We're Super Bowl champs for a reason. We were the champs for a reason. 2-time champs for a reason. Greatest coach in the game. Greatest defensive coordinator in the game. So, hey,
we'll be here next year. Will you?
Here, look,
that's one thing I'll tell a Philly fan. We'll be here next year. Are you though?
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
just kind of getting to the game element to it. Again, we're not. I know there's a bunch of Chiefs channels right now. I think the sky's falling. They're playing the blame game, all that stuff. That's not us. We are realistic. We're gonna tell you how it is on this given day. Like JD said, we weren't the better team today. Philadelphia was the better team today. That's it. Full stop. But we're going to talk about things that we noticed in this game that you can kind of point to a trend going through all season long. So I'll begin play calling. It lacked creativity and it lacked a balance today. And that's something that JD, Teja, and I have talked about all year long, that we go through these periods in the game where, first 10 plays of this game today, we threw the ball 9 times. We ran the ball once, first 10. There's never balance there, especially when we were struggling on the offensive line as we have been. We're just passing the ball right out the game. We're doing play actions. We run the ball like 4 times with our running backs. I mean, Hunt 3 carries, Pacheco 3 carries. We never got any balance going. And by the time we get to midway through the third quarter, we're down by 4 possessions. So it's like we can't run the ball now. And that's just something that's been kind of a trend all year. And I know there's a lot of fans that said, wait till we get to this playoffs. And these magical playoff playbook's going to come. It's going to solve all problems. It's like, no, that's been kind of the low we've had throughout the year. I know people want to blame Nagy and all this stuff. It's Andy's playbook. Okay. Like I know when it was EB was here. Oh, Andy's calling plays, but now offense doesn't look as good. Oh, Nagy's won't call plays. No, it's Andy's playbook. It's a collaboration, but this is Andy's thing. He had 2 weeks to prepare. And I think the 2 weeks, JD, we usually think that's a big thing with Andy Reid. You have 2 weeks to cook up plays, go to the 1929 Rose Bowl, and we'll see that play during the Super Bowl. We didn't see much of that today. It was just more when it got to halftime.
I saw that in Buffalo.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of the wrinkles in Buffalo. They had plays here and there, but when we got to halftime, the question was, okay, we're going to see DJ Humphries come back out at left tackle. No, we didn't. We saw the same O-line and just went back to the same what we saw at the end of the second quarter. It's like there's really no adjustments being made here. And as now the season's over, and we saw today that we kind of went back to our own ways of just throwing the ball 9 out of 10 times. The first 10 times we saw him out there. Why did we go away from the kind of the balance that we had been kind of going with throughout the playoffs? Because we were giving the ball to Kareem and Pacheco. Maybe not as much as we wanted, but way more than they did tonight. And they just went away from the whole feeding Kareem and Pacheco. Why did we do that tonight?
It's only Andy and those guys can answer that question. I mean, realistically, we can guess. We can assume, but like you said, we've been talking about, hey, for us, running the football. Remember, I had the keys to victory. I'm like, we got to give it to Kareem Hunt at least 15 times, and we didn't even attempt it. And I said, if you want to, if somebody's sitting back in the zone and they're sitting there waiting, and you got 4. You got to be physical up front. The game was. I said that the game was going to be won in the trenches up front. And it was. No mistake about it. So how do you stop a pass rush? You run it straight at them. You hit them big jokers. Take some of the energy away from them. You hit them. That's what you do. You beat them down. You got to be physical with them. What does a lineman hate to do? They hate to sit back and drop back. They hate to be sitting in their cleats. They want to put all their cleats in the ground and come off the daggone football. And I thought we should have gave it to them that way. That's how you establish the tone. That's how you establish the run. That's how you establish just your attitude. It's all about attitude. That our defense, what they was not going to do, they was not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. They made that a point. They said, hey, I don't care. We're going to make sure everybody up front, you get a hat on the hat. Okay, rally around the football and don't let them beat you with a big play. And they came out and they did their damn job. They did. So, hey man, this is kind of where it is. So, what do you do? Those guys, they're the ones that had to answer these questions, Marcus. Only they're the only ones that know that. So,
I will say, while this year we didn't really see a lot of the verticality in our passing game, I know it was the end of the game where we did kind of see it a little bit. We saw a little more in this game than we probably had all season, just letting it loose and letting Xavier go catch it. And I will say, we did see the end of the year, we saw, whoa, Xavier Worthy he's a first-round talent. If the draft was happening, the same draft that happened last April happened today, Xavier Worthy is a top 10 pick in that draft. Mm-hmm. Xavier Worthy is going way higher than where we got him. So we do have a gem, and we now know that for sure. But, like, I think as far as adjustment-wise going to next year, I think we need to have a little bit of that element back in the passing game. We didn't really have the home run potential. We didn't display it as much as we should have this year, and we got to see it against one of the premier defenses at the end of that game today. So I did like that aspect. We actually saw that again. Hopefully next year we make some adjustments to have that kind of verticality, because Pat's got one of the biggest arms in the league, and we haven't really seen that in 2 years, it seems like.
Well, you seen the one he threw down, in the middle of the field to Worthy. He was like, where's that been all game?
All year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so, yeah, I don't know. I think they was a little discombobulated. So
Kenny Pickett has as many carries as Kareem Hunt or Pacheco had. Jalen Hurts tied our entire team in carries. Kenneth Gainwell has many carries as Hunt and Pacheco. You're talking about the backup quarterback tied each one of our running backs, and the backup running back tied both of our running backs combined. That's crazy. And I don't want to hear that it wasn't working, because 3 carries each is not enough to go on. And you know what? They averaged more than Barkley did. And they ran it 25 times with Barkley. I didn't see them stop running the ball with Barkley, even though it wasn't working. So I don't want to hear it didn't work. That's bullshit. They just didn't run it. They started running it more in the second half when we were down by like 24. I was like, now you're going to run it? Now you're going to try to act like you have a running game now? It's too late. They don't buy it. They know you're going to go back to the pass any second now. Don't even try it. It's now you just go to no-huddle pass mode. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say earlier when you were commenting, Marcus, throughout the season in our very close losses, we don't go the total side of homerism. We actually do call out bad play calling, and things that we don't like throughout games. And people in the comments give us a hard time a lot throughout the year. Say, just enjoy the game. We won. Isn't that enough? This is why. Because at some point or another, you're going to play someone who's not playing their mediocre game. You play a great team's greatness, you're going to lose with those kind of plays. That's why we call that stuff out. Because, yeah, it's good enough to beat the Raiders in week 8. Who cares about that? That's not what we're gearing up to do. Our season's not defined by week 9 against some NFC team. Who cares about that? We're trying to get it right for these kind of games. That's what you have to get it right for. All that shit's practice for now, right?
Mm-hmm. It's we had the vision. We were already there. Okay, we came to do what we wanted to do. We wanted to get back to a Super Bowl, right, for the Three-Peat. Okay, we accomplished that, and this was going to be the cherry on the top to finish this whole thing off. And so, when I'm sitting there, and I was thinking about this, was this something that you would internally think, man, I got to do this? Did Andy and those guys get ahead of themselves? Did they get caught up in maybe some of the, I don't know, maybe having to call a perfect game? And then all of a sudden you're playing with yourself and thinking what you have to do and need to do, and all of a sudden it backfires. Well, then all of a sudden your whole game plan, what you had, and you thought it was going to work, and it didn't really have an answer. So it's not like saying, okay, let's rip this script up, right? We can make adjustments, but before you know it, all of a sudden it's 17-0. It's like, wow, okay. Somebody just jumped all over us. And that's hard. You ever see somebody in a fight, and you watch a joker get jumped on real quick and get hit in the mouth about 3 or 4 times, and they sitting there like trying to wake up like, oh, like, I've seen it. I've seen some of the toughest of it, like take shots like that. And they trying to get their bearings. And the fight didn't go like you thought it was going to go. You're like, oh, man, I thought he was going to destroy this guy. Chris, all he's been doing was just, hitting him dead in his nose, softening him up.
But we did have 3 possessions before it became a 2-possession game.
We did.
That's enough time to have some kind of rhythm in an offense, right? Like if they didn't, it's not like it was 14-0 in the first quarter. It was 7-0 by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
But we had 3 possessions before it became a 2-possession game.
Well, but if you game plan, like you said, is throwing it 9 times out of 10. I mean, that's your script. That's your script. That's what you're writing down. That's your first 15 or first 25. However many they doing it. That's what you're looking at. And like Marcus was sitting there saying, it wasn't really something that was creative. They knew what they was going to be facing. They knew that. They knew it was going to be 7 out in coverage. They knew that. They knew 4 was going to be rushing and hoping to hit home. I don't think they thought it was going to be as effective as it was. Or maybe some of the plays that they were calling didn't quite fit into what the scheme was with the 7. Like, because it's a lot of things that go into it, right? And coaches, players have to be on the same page. Okay, thought process had to be there. Because sometimes you can have a thought process on like, hey, look, this is what we need to do. They can speak to Pat about, hey, look for this guy. We're going to run this play right here. And so Pat is sitting there looking at it. He's thinking, I'm going to hit this guy. He's not open. And there might have been a time Pat should have maybe checked down a couple of times. Look, we can be honest. Pat be honest. He'll tell you. So but I'm not saying anything that Pat wouldn't say himself. And this is not hating on somebody. This is me as a football player analyzing and acknowledging the guys are open, that he might want a better shot, a different shot. And the first read and maybe second read wasn't there. And then before he could fire off to the third, now there's pressure. Guys are getting pushed back. So, and then you could go into the like, oh man, maybe we do have some issue on the O-line. Maybe little spikes and these twists and stunts is, hitting home. And he's under duress. Because Pat started doing, even though we had 3 series before it Tage, he started kind of running around a little bit. He did the whole twist. I'm like, what the, don't start this. Don't start that. I'm like, do not start that. And sometimes because you've been able to get away with it, looks good. And he's magical and these things happen. But for a team that's very athletic, very fast, top in defense, they hungry. They know that. You had 2 weeks to study a guy, study a play. Vic Fangio had lost to 0-9, you said? You think he don't know Pat? You don't think he went through all the stuff that didn't work before? Watch all the film? This is what they do, they tendencies? So there's a lot that go into it, man. So, but like I said before, you know it. Oh, man, what's going on?
All year, we talked about the lulls we would go into. I mean, we saw certain times where, Pat would get the ball out fast. Over the last time he threw an interception was the Buffalo Bills game, week 11. And then today he threw his 3, the 1 pick 6. I mean, since that time in that Bills game, we saw Pat get the ball out faster, especially since Tooney took over. We kind of adjusted things where Pat was getting the ball out faster. And today, just holding the ball too long. And it got to a point, and that's the one thing I know some people say that the running game wasn't effective. We didn't see it enough, A. B, forget about if it's effective or not. Let's get some kind of variety out there, some kind of a balanced look, because otherwise they're just sending 7 out every time, bringing 4 and just going after the quarterback because they know the run. And so another thing we always talked about during the season, we always love how when teams who don't run the ball, they're doing play actions. I mean, dude, no one's buying the play action. Those 4 dudes are coming right at the quarterback. It's a useless thing there, the play action without running the ball.
It's funny. It could have been a normal low game for us, and we'd actually still would have been in it. If it was just a normal offense just taking like a quarter and a half off, we could have withstood that and weathered the storm. But when you combine the Chiefs low with 2 back-to-back interceptions leading to 14 points when you're already down 10, dude, that's just too much. One pick six and another one they were down at the 13, 14-yard line when they caught that.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. It was if we just would have punted those and played tough defense, let's say they get a field goal instead. You're talking about 11 less points. It's 29-22 at that point.
Yeah, and get the ball back.
Final score, I know that took the pedal off the metal at the end, but it just like take 11 points away. It's 29-22. It's doable. I think that just that did it. Our defense was playing well enough to slow them down if you made them drive an entire field. But pick six and then 14-yard line, yes, it's you can't overcome that. Now when a team is playing on top of it, now when they're playing that as well as they were.
But my last key to victory for the offense was we had to protect the football. That's our lifeline. That's what it means so much on offense, on protecting the football, because that's how you butter your bread. That's how you make your money. And once you eliminate that and diminish it, what do you have? And especially, like you said, you in bad field position. Just took one back. Coming out on end zone, throw one, pick. Man. And here's the thing, though. Because I know everybody was probably thinking this. At least I know it was. Guess what? Okay, this is what we had to deal with. I've seen Tom Brady and those guys. Tom Brady came back. They were down with Atlanta. I'm thinking Tom was sitting there thinking like, hey, don't count him out. Does Patrick Mahomes have the same time? Yeah, absolutely has that makeup, if not more. Tom recognizes it. Nobody want to give up. The announcers, all the one, Howie, Gronk, and all, when they were sitting up and talking, they were still like, hey, man, if they right the ship the second half, still in the game. Still in the game.
You got to think Hopkins catches that ball right before halftime. He gets us in the field goal range. At least some kind of points there, some kind of momentum, some kind of rhythm. That drop, man. I feel for D-Hop. First time in the Super Bowl, biggest game of his career. You got to catch that, man. I know he knows that. And then he makes up for it in the end of the game in that fourth quarter with those two brilliant catches. But that really hurt. To see the guy who probably has the most sure-handed hands in the league for the last decade to drop a pass like that.
That's why I said when that happened, I said, what is going on? What is going on? I said that exactly. I said he got the best hands out of everybody out there on the field. The best in the whole stadium. I was like, daggone, what in the world?
20 plays in the first half, 23 yards. 2 interceptions, 1 first down.
20, how many yards? 20 what?
23.
Come on.
Almost more plays than yards.
Yeah. Come on, man.
More interceptions than first downs. That's you could be playing another team on their worst day and probably still be losing by double digits against them, let alone a powerhouse playing like a powerhouse. It's crazy.
Yeah. Eagles had 24 points and we had 23 yards. Neff said as 85 Bears was worse against New England.
Yeah, it's bad. We have a lot of stuff to deal with in the offseason. We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there's gonna be. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. Obviously, I know. Tomorrow, our show tomorrow night. I didn't think we were gonna have to grade it because I thought we were gonna win the game, but we got to grade this one out.
Oh man, you're gonna get some parent phone calls after that grade when those kids cry.
Especially
did you give my son an F, Jason? Do you know what Pat's done for this school? Do you know how much money we've donated to the library? You can't give my son Pat an F after what he's done for this football team?
Yeah, grade the parents is going to be the big one for me. I want to see what Jay's going to grade the offensive play calling because that was, woof, stinky.
it just didn't seem like anything came together. It just didn't look in any type of rhythm at all. It didn't seem like whatever plan it was, it just didn't seem clear as far as what you need to do. And keep going back to it because I'm still not understanding why are we not running the football? Why are we not giving to the guy that, like I said, when I'm sitting over telling the speech, the guy that was on the side of the road will give anything, give his right leg to be in this spot in the Super Bowl. What do you think he'll do for you? How do you think he could rally guys up? I mean, oh, man. I don't know, man. Stinks.
I hope this is a lesson to all the fans who don't listen to JD when JD says there is no playoff playbook. I hope this is a lesson to all those fans. There is no playoff playbook. What you see in the regular season is what we're going to see in the playoffs. Yes, there's maybe a play here or two that we may get whip up for the playoffs. There is no other playbook. That's it, guys. There's no secret, and there's no anti-secret stuff. That's it. What you see in the regular season is what you're going to see for the large part in the playoffs. And quite frankly, that is kind of what we saw, this up and down play where, there was times we couldn't get into rhythms. And when you like JD said, when you're not ready for the fight, you keep taking those face shots in the nose, when you're not doing anything back, you're going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. At some point, there is no coming back from that. And that's what happened.
We ran that one quick screen to Worthy, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. Nope, that's not going to do it. And I was sitting there, they was ready to read it. It was like, they watched the film. Oh, recognize, go. And he was in his face when they threw the ball. So, yeah. They're expecting particular things. This, and another thing, for one of my friends over in Philly said, yeah, this is Andy Reid ball. They and of course they a little butthurt because of Andy up there, but they's like, yeah, this is what Andy used to do up in Philly all the time. But look, it's like I said, man, the guys had a great year. He had a great year. Okay.
Yeah, totally. People would give one of their nuts to have the season we had.
Absolutely.
Even with the loss. Look, all you can ask for as a fan, because look, only one team has a successful year at the end of the day. Everyone else goes home a loser. It sucks. It's the way it is. But all you can ask for as a fan is to be able to root for your team to have a chance at a victory during every week of the entire NFL season. I hate watching other teams play. I hate it. I hate watching Super Bowls when we're not in it. And we're lucky to be able to watch up to the last possible second our team try to win a game. And that's all you can ask for as a fan. Like when our season ends is when the offseason starts. Like we shut the club down every year. Okay, win or loss. So
yeah, we're their game last call for sure.
Yeah, man. Sometimes we strike out.
The lights come on.
Hollering at a girl. Sometimes we go home with one. But you know what? You're still there until the lights come on and the drinks stop flowing. And they make everyone go home.
Yeah. We have a Vikings fan in the chat, JMF, Vikings fan here. Tough way to end the season, but I would donate a body part to just have a taste of what you guys have had for the past 7 years. You guys will bounce back. Appreciate that, JMF. Appreciate the Vikings. Good luck to whatever you guys do with Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy in the offseason. You guys got a fun offseason ahead for you guys. Yeah, so we talked about the offense. Kind of sweater. Oh, we did have a question. I forgot where it is, but Kelsey, JD, what did you make of Kelsey's play today? I think pretty much someone was saying that Kelsey looks sluggish today, and also they asked Pat if this is his last game, Kelsey's last game. He said that's Travis' decision. I know he's got a lot of ball left, but that's up to him. What did you make of Travis's play? Did it seem like it was a last game kind of game? And quite frankly, if I'm Travis, I know we talked about winning on the three-peat going out like that. Yeah. But I don't want to go out like that. If I'm Travis, like we just lost tonight, so I think because we lost today, there's a higher chance he does come back next year. So
Uh, he had that one that it dropped very early. Yeah, he just didn't seem as crisp as usually is. So I don't, and I think a lot of it is, somebody said it earlier, like the speed of how guys are hitting them and going. They played hard, man. Their defense played hard. I tell you what, man. After watching them, I got a little bit more respect for what their defense is, what they did all year. Seriously. And I said, man, I know some of the teams that they played, I don't think was as good as some of the teams that we played. But as far as scheme wise, what they wanted to do, I think they just was hitting us at angles and different things that they wanted to make sure we weren't going to be able to get into like our plays as much. Same thing. Kelsey wasn't going to beat us. They were going to let Kelsey beat us. He had 3 guys on him when Pat threw the ball to him. He had 3 of them on him. 3. So yeah, did it look sluggish? Man, it looked that way because of some of the results and what things look like. So I said, it looked like the flu hit the team. It was something. Remember they were talking about Jalen Carter had something. Jokers might have some bad gumbo or whatever. I don't know. No telling. So not sure. I don't know if any reports. Did anybody say anything about flu going on the team? I just heard about Jalen Carter and a couple other guys being sick.
No, I never heard about the Chiefs getting anything because I knew the flu and neurovirus going around. I never heard anything about Mahomes getting sick, but I remember hearing him at one of the press conferences. He looked a little rough, and he also sounded like congested. But they never said he was sick or anything. But he sounded like he was congested. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Super Bowl media day, you're around 1 million people, and the flu's going around. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised he did come down with something. But,
Right. So, yeah, man, and that was another thing. You got to get Travis involved early. If it doesn't work, shoot, throw it to him again. Call his number again. Okay. Out of those 9 pass plays that you did, 4 should be to Trav. Called for him at least, if not 5. 3 to Worthy, 2 to D-Hop, 1 to Juju, however it works out, something like that. But I mean, you got to throw the ball to Kelsey, man. Get him involved early. So.
DT draw play, screen pass, RB, jet sweep. Come on, that's another thing. Jet sweep. I know Hardman hadn't been playing in a month, but you have Hollywood Brown who can do a jet sweep. You have Xavier Worthy who can do a jet sweep.
We haven't done that for a little while, actually. I took Worthy props on him rushing a couple of weeks in a row, and we stopped doing that with him. Actually, I don't know if we did that with him in the playoffs. I need to look. But yeah, that's not something we've been doing at all. Well, wait, hey, dude, when you're not running the ball, you're running backs. You want your receiver to get a carry? Running backs can't even get touched.
Right, that will be the thing we do. We don't run with our running backs, but yeah, we're gonna do some jet sweeps with the receivers.
That's true.
Not having that at all though is wild to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Kelsey, man, he just looked more like his regular season self instead of he didn't up the ante to the playoff Kelsey. As you get older, it's going to look closer to that regular season self every year, right? So I'd love for Kelsey to come back as far as future, but maybe he can give a little hometown discount as way out the door too. If he be mighty fine if he did that. What's Kelsey's number looking like these days?
That's also too. Another people are saying where were the other tight ends? Why didn't they step up? Noah Gray didn't get targeted at all. I mean, he was one of our main red zone targets throughout the season and one of our main dependable guys in the middle of the field. Didn't really see much of him.
Nope, he was in there for that one interception because I seen him chasing after Dijon. So, he came in because they needed help on pass protection. But yeah, it didn't look like no snappiness. And that Sarah 73, where was Kareem? Yeah, where was Kareem? Yeah, that's a great question. And I asked the same thing, Sarah. Where was Kareem? Where's Kareem at?
where was Pop at? I mean, the running backs weren't utilized at all this game.
Yeah, somebody just said seven carries is crazy. For the
Absolutely
running backs.
nuts. JD, this has been the Teja and I did. We when we were watching the game, we noticed this: the sideline, no communication. I know they only show them in spurts, but it seems to me that like every time they show Pat's just sitting there with like, I don't see any tablet in his hand. I don't see they show Kelsey the offensive line a few times, and he just looked like just dazed, like he got hit by a truck, and he just didn't know what happened. I didn't see a lot of communication or talk on the sideline. Again, this is just when they show the camera on the guys. I'm sure there was communication. But it did seem like there wasn't like a, I don't know. If I'm throwing 3 picks in this game, I feel like I'm like doing research on the tablet and just trying to figure out something. I just feel like a lot of like they got punched in the mouth and they went to the sideline. Just it wasn't like there was no I don't know, kind of a game plan to get back out there and do something. It just felt like go to the sideline, come back and do the same SOS, do the same old shit. And it's like, well,
how do you adjust getting no time out there though? You know what I mean? Like, what's he supposed to do? Be like, all right, when 3 guys are eating my boogers after 1.5 seconds of having the ball in my hand, what do I do? I don't know how much you can even look at though, right? Like, what do you? I mean, first we have to have like a little time, and then see how he adjusts to that, and then be like, okay. When I have the ball long enough to see this look, I need to do this. But we didn't even get to see their defense really. They were in our face in a second. And I read Fangio was saying he was hoping that his 4-man front could get to us because he didn't want to blitz against us because he didn't have faith in his backside and his young corners.
Yeah.
Torian, fly, Eagles, fly, fam. It's my cousin right there. Eagles fan, fly, Eagles, fly, fam. What's up, T? Yeah, and look, my house, it was probably, 50 people here or more, easy, and some had Eagles jerseys on, some from Kansas City, and obviously, with my starting in Philly, we had a good contention, so I had to pay some money up, My brother Tim is, and I told everybody I might go upstairs and just do a quick little interview, ask people some questions, okay, and what they thought about it. So, I might come back here in a quick second and do a quick little thing for them to say what's up. All right,
that's cool.
But I say this, and that's what I told him. I said, man, I a little bit more, respect for what they did. So Tori said, yeah, you're the reason I'm an Eagles fan because I already know. Chad said I got no invitation. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Invitation. Of course, Neff. I know you've been trying to hold it down for Green Bay for a long time, and I had friends out there in Green Bay didn't know what to, y'all was sitting there at home watching everything. So, but listen, the call should have been better. No question about it. I'm sure Andy and those guys kick themselves in the tail right now about the game plan they had and thought we should have did something differently. Yes, we probably should have handed the ball off, but I'm telling you right now, the remedy against pressure on the D line that is rushing the quarterback like they were and hitting home is run the football right at them. That's as simple as you could possibly make it. As simple as you could possibly make it. Like you had to fight, like whatever MO you say, man, we got to hand the daggone ball off. We have to hand it off. Like you said, the play action is not going to work if they don't think we're going to run the daggone ball. Nobody's biting that. Linebacker's not coming up. You know why? Because there's no threat they're going to run the football. They drop back in coverage. Bond on those guys. Patton's sitting over there trying to throw the football, and he don't even see the guy running. Why? Because the guy's flooding the zone. And that's what you get. That's the things you have with that, man. Oh, man. The outcome should have been tremendously different.
Very different.
But
Block 87, the bulk of the blame is on whoever thought we could start a rookie at left tackle. There's also there's a few ways I could go with this. Right, there's that element of it. We never really found a left tackle spot. And one thing too was DJ Humphries. Did he never just get healthy? Did he never get healthy at all? I mean, they said he was healthy, but like at the end of the day, he gets hurt in that Chargers game. We never see him again after that half of football that he played. They said he was healthy. They said they wanted to get him back out there when he was ready to go. They put him at left tackle and they go back to Tuni Agar. And I mean, did he never get right? I mean, it's just crazy, man.
This is we're victims to our own success. Because it's like, oh, well, it works. Look, it works. But yeah, me and my nephew was talking. My nephew was like, yeah, Joe Tooney's arms are not long enough. That's why he plays guard.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. When I'm sitting there saying, yeah, they're going to attack Joe Tooney like Myles Garrett did. And I said that after the game. I said, they see the number. You push him back. That's what you do, as stout as he is.
He held up great.
Huh?
He held up great.
He did, but
he did much more than you could expect from a guard to do in fill-in duty, man.
No, absolutely. No, I agree with what you're saying. To Marcus's point, was DJ Humphrey a better option? Did he ever get healthy? I mean, that's something we don't quite know. It's hard to answer that because
even if he was healthy, can't stick him in at halftime of that game.
I'm talking about
2 weeks ago.
No, but a lot of people wanted to stick him in at halftime and put Tooney at left guard. You can't do that, man. He was getting blown up by whoever he played that first week, and that wasn't the Eagles' defense.
It was a Chargers defense. That's pretty. They call him Mac. Those aren't slouches.
No, they're not slouches. But this team was. I mean, they acted like they had like their brother in the back with a gun to his head or something. That's what they were playing today. Okay. They were playing like there was no tomorrow. Okay, Chargers are playing for incentives. Come on, you can't just stick them in at halftime of the Super Bowl and be like, "All right, DJ, play left tackle for us."
Forget about that. I think JD and I are on the same page here. Forget about that. It's the fact that after that Week 18 game where he played pretty much most of that game, that gets the Broncos, then we have 2 weeks off, right? Then we come back in that game. It's like against the Texans. That was the point. Do we either go DJ Humphries right there, or do we ride the hot hand with Joe Tooney? And they did that. That would have been the point to do it because, like JD said, let's just not change anything. It's been fine. Let's just keep going with it. And that's the problem with having a left guard and playing left.
That was a decision for the rest of the season, I believe. Once you do it there, that's it. You couldn't. The only thing you maybe could have done, is with 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl, be like, all right, we have 2 weeks. We have a little mini reset button. We could do it right now to prepare for the season.
JD brought that up. JD brought that element up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, are we sure? Everybody's like, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm just like, but I see problems. I see issues. I see issues with this problem. Is it broke? It sucker's cracked. Absolutely. It's not broke all the way, but there's cracks in it. And so we can see some of it with, Caliendo in the run game. And what they did today was like, and I tell you what, as a coach, if I'm playing this, just like shopping everything, I'm looking at how I'm going to attack you. I'm going to look for the chink in the armor. And if I find me something, if I'm watching on film and I see just a little bit, I'm telling my guys, you can attack that part. He's not that good right there. You know why I know this? Because sitting there in NFL locker rooms all the time when I would talk to offensive coordinators, defense coordinators, they would tell you chink in the guy's armor. And he'll bring it up on his board like I did. When I say keys to victory, he will bring it up. That's how you attack him. And I will bring up the point, Joe Tooney's arms are not as long as everybody else. Is he doing an okay job? Sure, he's doing an okay job. Who's going to get back there? Who's going to sit there and say, okay job is not good enough? You going to let a guy just doing an okay job beat you? So I'm going to challenge my guy. That's what I'm going to do. So to Marcus's point, and look, to be honest, you'd be like, why you won't put me in now? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I'm asking for a job to do, maybe it's still time to show you should have been in the whole time anyway.
And if you want money in the offseason from somebody.
Absolutely. Right? So that's that. Yeah, sure. Hey, you know what? Try it. Put it in. Is it a better option? Why not? Why not? Because what we seen the product that was out there right now, could it have been worse? Maybe, possibly. We don't know that. Because I didn't get any indication, I get any information from anybody that was sitting there saying that DJ Humphries was well enough or didn't, he wasn't playing better than Joe Tooney. It wasn't a definitive answer saying, yes, he's better than DJ Humphrey. And that's why we're not playing him. So.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but yeah, that left tackle is going to be a common theme on the Chief Concerns offseason show, guys. So definitely left tackle is going to be something we're going to be talking about all offseason long. So be ready for this, the talk in the trenches. We love the trenches. You guys,
give me 1 minute. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So talking about one big thing was the we don't beat ourselves. That's the one thing that we know in Kansas City. We don't beat ourselves all year long. We're a team that, second half of the season, we weren't turning the ball over. We were starting to have more of a balanced attack. And penalties. We weren't getting penalized. We weren't having things, we weren't having things go against us. And in this game, we were just massively undisciplined. Charles Menahu's offsides takes away a huge sack. Bolden's unnecessary roughness takes away that 3rd and 26 play, which they would have punted it. We would have the ball. It would have been beautiful. Take that away. McDuffie's unnecessary roughness going after Goddard's head after the ball already went over him. Ticky-tacky call. I think that was BS. Nonetheless, ball was over his head. You saw it. Just be done with it. Play's over. That's something that we didn't see all season. That's something we don't usually see with us. We lacked discipline today, and I think that did hurt us because it kept them on the field longer, and a lot of things that we don't normally see. It's out of our character, as you'd say. What did you make of just that? Because it just seemed like we weren't. I don't know. Out of sorts, it seemed like
that was the perfect storm for just all the bad things that could happen to us. It was undisciplined. It was sloppy. Everything, every phase of bad parts of a game, poor play calling, poor execution, undisciplined penalties, and big ones too, right? They're big penalties, and then turnovers. That was like the perfect storm of badness. Is that we had it all, man.
Yeah,
it wasn't like us. It wasn't. I mean, every phase, it was just when someone says it's not your night, it's like that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, tonight was one of those things. I mean, once D-Hop dropped that pass, we were already feeling this way anyway. Once he drops that pass, and then looking after the fact, you see the open field that he had after that. It's like, oh no, man! We could have gotten something there, at least 3. 24-3 halftime, get the ball, you score a touchdown on that opening drive, you get the momentum going a little bit. You have something going there. Is that drop, man, was just so massive. And then he catches that touchdown, and it's a conversion at the end of the game. Like, dude, those are ridiculously hard catches, but he dropped a wide open middle of the field catch.
I know, man. Yeah. Not like us. We played huge. And what's crazy is that we talked about this. The one good thing about having all these heart attacks all season is that it prepares you to play in the big moment, the big game, right? Because all these big moments in small games, they equal to the kind of intensity and laser focus you need for all of a complete playoff and Super Bowl game. And we've had it. But you know what? If you're on point all the time, you are going to have slip-ups. Like, we didn't have a slip-up at all this year. We didn't slip up once. Maybe we needed one get just ass beating during the regular season. We usually have one bad loss where we don't look right against a subpar mediocre team. We didn't even do that this year. Our one real loss came against Buffalo.
Yeah, the Buffalo game, man.
Even the games we didn't look great, we still pulled them out. right? So I felt like we never had a true learning experience this year. And it all came to head in the most important last game of the season.
Well, it's the one thing we always say to the people who talk about, like, oh, yeah, the Chiefs never had a Super Bowl. I've never had a holding call in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, because we were a disciplined team. And what happened today? We weren't disciplined enough. And I know there's a lot of conspiracies going on online right now saying, oh, yeah, the refs finally called the penalties on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because everyone was on to them. They wanted to make sure they wanted to make sure that it wasn't rigged for them. So it's like, okay, shut up. Now you want to rationalize it to yourself, not just, we weren't a disciplined team tonight. We weren't. Just things that don't normally happen to us, the offsides, unnecessary roughness. Well, I don't agree with the unnecessary roughness either, though. I don't. JD is coming on here with a guest. Okay, let me change this up, JD. There you go.
All right.
What's up, big man? Congratulations, man.
Sorry. Much respect to you all. Best respect to you all.
Congratulations, man.
So this is my brother Tim. Okay. And
Marcus, how you doing? Marcus?
I'm good. I'm a little rough tonight with all this going on, but But I'm happy for you guys. I know the Dunn household split with the Philadelphia and Chiefs, so the Dunn household was winning tonight no matter what between the outcome.
That is true.
So what did you think? So tell us why you think the Chiefs lost tonight. I'd love to hear the Philly take on everything.
You know what I think? I think first off, y'all was focused on Saquon, and y'all stopped him. Everything was beautiful there for the Chiefs, but I think it just opened up everything else for you all. I mean, for us. I think we did very well as far as the passing game. Hurts was just running, but y'all stopped Saquon.
Yeah. So like we were just talking kind of like the defensive line, right? Just against like our offensive line, defensive line played a really good game. And I told you this. I said, man, I got a whole different newfound respect for the Eagles defense. I knew there was a good defense, but I just, the way they dominated the game today, there's always the question, like, did we just play that bad or are they just that good?
Man.
Right? So,
I mean, we got a good defense. I mean, our corners, I mean, our line, everything. I mean, the DEs. I mean, we just been strong with the defense. I mean, we've been pretty good with defense all year.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and y'all have. Y'all get good pieces all around, young pieces as well. But I was telling them that I got some calls, some text messages from people we knew up in Philly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about this game and how y'all have start basking in this win. Okay, basking in this win. And I think because how it was last year for you all, and I just ended on such a sour note that it looked like y'all needed a retooling, a season, getting guys back together to make it a much better team. But as far as the fans go, okay, in Philly, right? And this, obviously, he's wearing 87 because played up there, and we know it. We know how Philly is, the fan base and what they were doing. It was a lot of stuff, antics before the game that was kind of crazy. And one thing we always wondered is, can Eagles fans actually win gracefully? Yeah, I mean, really.
I mean, you've seen the season. I mean, we've had a very good season. I mean, our playoffs was really, really good. Mm-hmm. And I think pretty much we just been fighting. We've been fighting the refs. I mean, even the last game with the refs seemed like, I felt like it was bad calls. I mean, but that's coming from a Philly fan. But I think it's just been bad calls with the refs. We just had to stop with. We had to fight the refs, the offense. We had to fight the fans. We just had to just come out and just dominate. That's what Philadelphia just had to do. We just had to come out and dominate. So we just no hands barred. We just had to come out and fight everybody. That's how I feel. Respect to the Chiefs, but I'm just saying we had to just dominate everybody.
So okay, so I talked to a guy. We had our Super Bowl for the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame yesterday, and a guy for ESPN was there, and he does a betting show there, and he said he was going with the Kansas City Chiefs. That was his pick, and I said, okay, yeah, Kansas City Chiefs. He said, but I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs because when I started seeing more of, the people, community, and everybody else out here, the regular folks start going for a team, he said he goes opposite. So I'm just like, okay, well, why? And he made this point. He said, for everybody, as far as fan-wise, who they go for, they have comprised in the last 25 years, 20 of them have lost from what the fans say they're going to win. 20. They've only been right 5 times of the 25. The fans actually won it. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, really? He said, yeah. He said, so I'm just going through measures. I'm going through, as far as trends. He said, but trend-wise, when people start moving over to like Philly winning this game, he said, I'm going to go opposite. I think the Chiefs are going to win because usually the fans are wrong. They're wrong because of who they like. And I know you said, because you felt like Philly had to go through all these different things. But Philly did not, okay, I'm going to disagree with you, bro, did not have the type of vitriol or the hate that the Chiefs did. And it seemed like it started from the very start, that they just didn't want the Chiefs to win. And I guarantee that this is what pisses me off more than anything else, Marcus and Tage, okay, and everybody else out here. It's because it's almost like everybody is okay. They love this. They love to see the Chiefs suffer.
Oh, of course.
That's another thing I hate about this whole loss.
You're a reigning champ for 728 days, man. Nobody wants you to keep that streak going.
No, yeah. Oh, Chiefs lost. I mean, it was like the world was against us.
People hate a winner.
I've had a block.
Love winners. I don't know when that changed.
To that point, I've had a block from people making offensive comments on our team's fan bases on here. Not Eagles fans. Maybe one Eagles fan, but one was a Niners fan. I think one was a Bills fan. I had to block a few of their comments for making offensive comments about Chiefs players. So yeah, everyone's coming to the dance in our grave right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for everybody else. I go for the Eagles. Of course, we want to win regardless, right? I mean, definitely we don't want a three-peat, but we want a championship.
Let me ask you a question. If it was Commanders is tough, that's also a division rival for you. But if it were the Commanders and Chiefs, who would you be rooting for?
Chiefs.
Okay. Is that because of the Commanders, though? Or is that because you should be rooting for the Chiefs?
I don't like the Commanders.
Okay, what if it was like the Packers or Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Okay. Is that also because you don't like the Packers, too?
I mean, I like the Packers. I do like the Packers. They're all right. But, I'm with Chiefs also. I think the Chiefs.
Okay.
For sure.
So you don't have this blind hatred for the Chiefs then?
No, definitely not. I got, Pacheco. I've seen Pacheco play in high school. And, I follow Pacheco. So I dig the Chiefs. Plus, my brother, with the Chiefs. So I like the Chiefs.
Okay.
But I'm Eagles. I'm Eagles.
I get that 100%.
Chad's about to weigh in here. He just said, hold on to your answer on Chiefs over the Packers. One thing I will say when that first drive of the game where AJ Brown grabbed McDuffie's face mask, the whole internet went absolutely nuts. Here it goes again. The NFL's rigging it for the Chiefs. Right away, people want to jump down our throats right after that happened. And it was pretty obvious. Dude, grab his face mask. I mean, come on. I thought it was clear as day.
You thought it was intentional, Marcus? You thought it was intentional? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, intentional or not, he still put his hands in the guy's face mask.
Well, did you hear the first one that cried about it, though?
Brady?
Brady.
Yeah.
After singing praises for Patrick Mahomes this entire year, this entire season, he's doing the Super Bowl, and he immediately starts with the whole narrative. Oh my gosh, I don't like that call. Terrible call. Are you kidding? Like, that's the rule. Everybody saw it. So why are you sitting there saying that, Tom? You know who's happy also too? That the Chiefs are not three-peating? Tom Brady.
Yep.
Patriot too, yeah.
Tom Brady. It's the same. It's the same thing with the Dolphins. When the Dolphins, when somebody gets beat, they pop champagne. They're happy about it. They're happy. Tom Brady, maybe in his selfishness, the little bit, pettiness, probably didn't want to see this play out that way. For real.
He was honest about the other bad calls, the Bolton one, ticky tack, and the McDuffie was ticky tack too. So he did say those are also ticky tack.
Yeah,
he didn't really comment when they showed Carter hitting Mahomes' face mask though. He didn't really comment on that one later on.
Nope.
He completely ignored it.
Yeah, he kind of turned his head then. Tom, you see that, huh? Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm not sure why they gave him the penalty. I think it was on the goalpost dunking. It was like that's not what he asked you. He asked you what do you think about the face mask hit."
Yeah.
He just completely ignored the question. It was great, but at that point the game was friggin' over. But
there were so many people invested into the Chiefs losing. There was so much hate for the Chiefs that they're so enjoyed and happy about this loss that the Chiefs had taken. And I'm telling you, it was like rubbing your face. My phone blew up. I was getting text messages from everybody. Everybody was against the Chiefs. Who you got? JD, are you? And I'm like, y'all realize I do a show called Chiefs Concerns. Y'all realize I got like Chiefs stuff up here. Now, look, I love Philly, right? And I've said this before, but there should be no question like who I'm going for. Seriously.
I got to say this, though. After I saw your last show, and after seeing your speech on the keys to victory, I was a little worried. that was a good speech. I was like, oh, man. I said, I hope nobody else sees this because that was a very good speech. Had me a little nervous.
I think they probably should have. If they didn't see it, they probably should have given a little bit more oomph in that first half. At least.
Man, it sure would have. For sure.
Only way it would have made a difference if you stitched JD's arms on Tooney's body. That's the only way it would have made a difference.
Yeah, for real. For real. I said, look, I'm not going to be able to get down there fast enough.
Just borrow him for a day.
Yeah. Hey, I would have came in at halftime, man, kicking the doors in like, what in the hell is going on? And I know the guys are just like that. I know that, man, they was just like I said, discombobulated. Like, man, what is going on? Right? And you had Andy and those guys, even though they've been behind before, to the degree, especially in a game of this magnitude, you had to put it all back together, right? You had to. And so I'm sitting there thinking, what is he saying at halftime to get these guys going? But I knew if they came out second half, which it looked like they did, start firing, I'm like, okay, all right, now we got something cooking. Now it look like things should change. And then all of a sudden it was like, came back and just like, dang, God, fills it out again.
We still didn't get past midfield.
No. So that tells you what necessarily the attitude of the guys. Part of it was, could have been the game plan. Part of it could have been what Philly was doing against us on defense. They had our number. They had our number for today. They did.
Yeah.
How deflated do you think you've been in locker rooms before, JD? How deflated was that D-Hop drop to like the whole team? Just seeing that happen. As fans, we were all like, whoa, are you serious? But like, how deflated for the because if you get points there, you're going to get some kind of momentum going into the second half, 3 or 7 there. But there was nobody there. I saw a still shot. I need to go back and watch all 22 of it. If he catches that ball, there's daylight there. I don't know, D-Hop at this age, I don't know if he would take it to the house, but he was taking it pretty far. And I just feel like that was a pretty big momentum killer right there, just seeing that happen. I mean, Chris Jones dropped to his knees on the sideline.
Yeah. It was like, what was it like? Whatever bad could happen, could, and did. And that's exactly what it was. Like all the misfortune we had all that first half, and then watch him drop the ball. Somebody was sure-handed like D-Hop dropped the ball. Like it was almost like my grandsons tell me how he tried to one-handed. This is my grandson telling me.
It didn't look that way.
Yeah. And I'm like, why? It didn't look like he had to go one-handed. And it was like it just looked weird for him to try to catch the ball. And I know D-Hop was.
We had that argument earlier in the year about guys doing it when they don't have to do it. Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not necessary. Not necessary there. But you know what about the D-Hop thing? It's not like things were going well for us when he did that. It's not like we drove to the 10-yard line and all of a sudden he dropped the game-tying Mark Andrews touchdown. It wasn't that.
Right. No.
Nothing was going right. So
no, but that could have gotten us to
a wall and it wasn't going right.
That could have gotten us to a little bit of a rhythm, though. Like, hey,
we weren't in a rhythm, though. If we were in a rhythm when he did that, then I'd be like, "Oh, D-Hop, what are you doing to us?" But dude, everyone was shooting themselves in the foot on every single play. So it's like it was just D-Hop's turn to mess it up for us. That's all it was.
Yeah.
It was, what are you gonna do? D-Hop, it's your turn. What are you gonna do? Drop a ball. All right, cool. Mahomes, your turn. What are you gonna do? Throw it into someone's feet? Okay, cool. Tooney, get thrown on my ass. It's just like everyone had a turn of getting their ass beat on another play every single time.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm about to get out of here. It was a very good game. Hopefully we see y'all next year. Best 2 out of 3.
I'm actually seeing right now that the Vegas odds. The Vegas odds, Tim, have the Eagles as the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl next year. Chiefs are tied with the Buffalo Bills for number 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But good game, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Congrats, Tim.
Congrats, man.
Hey, y'all, I love seeing y'all. All right, I'll holler.
Good to see you, buddy.
Get you. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Take it easy, Tim.
For sure, Marcus.
Later on, man.
Hey.
But Jay, before when you were getting Tim's mic situated, we were talking about the undisciplined nature of the team tonight as far as the penalties. Omena, who's offsides, takes away a big sack. Bolin's unnecessary roughness. Then McDuffie's unnecessary roughness, taking away big plays. Yes, ticky-tacky as far as the unnecessary roughness. The offsides. I mean, they called that. That was pretty clear. That's just we're not used to seeing that. I mean, when people talk about, Chiefs don't get penalties called them in the Super Bowl. Well, that's because we're a pretty disciplined team, and we're sharp for these big games. And today just didn't really seem that we had that sharpness. Forget about the play calling; that's his own non-sharpness. But that is usually something that we are pretty good with. And today, just what did you make of that when you saw those uncharacteristic penalties being called on us? Were you like, dang, like everything's off tonight?
Some of it is like frustration. I think it's a lot of it. When things are going bad, and it's like you almost don't care, and it does look bad. It's like, man, what are you doing? And that's what it is. I think it is the frustrating part of trying to do things right, get things done the right way. But disappointing part is it keeps drives going, keeps things happening. So you just, like I said, man, anything bad that could happen. I mean, we've seen it today. Somebody said that Travis Kelce said this was the worst game they ever played. I would have to agree with him. I would have to agree. And so, like I always said, it's not necessarily about them, it's about us too. What did we not do right? Was not taken away from Philly's greatness and what they did, as far as during the game. But a lot of it had to be, we shot ourselves in the foot too. A lot of it. Just where we just didn't perform. So whether it was Travis not performing well, right? And people could argue the point, well, he looked, like you said, a little tired. He didn't look himself. Well, what would Travis say about it? You think Travis was like, yeah, no, it was fine. I look great. I was doing everything right, and I was getting open. I think he would probably be hard on himself. especially when a game like this, you have to reflect. Did you do everything? Did you play a great game? Nobody's going to play a perfect game, but when you win it, sometimes you can cover up some of your weaknesses. And I think today we've seen some of them get exposed. So I got somebody else here that wants to say hi to y'all, man. It's gentleman flew all the way up here, man, from Atlanta.
Uh-oh. And there he is. What's going on, Charles?
Hey, what's going on?
There you go. He was repping. He was repping the night. How are you feeling, man?
I'm good. Teja, what's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Well, I've had better days, I guess.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
But like we said earlier, we've been reigning champs for over 700 days. So, it's got to rain every so often,
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I've been listening to you guys talking, and then Tim came down here and put his half a cent in. But I didn't hear you guys talk about. I didn't hear you guys talking about the referees or the penalties. And like all through the season, that's what everyone was talking about. The Chiefs are getting favoritism. I didn't hear anything like that today.
D-Hop mentioned that in his post-game presser.
Did he?
He said there were ticky-tack calls in the game, but you guys aren't going to talk about that today, huh?
Right. Yeah. That's not don't fit the narrative, Tage.
Nah.
Don't fit it. So
Charles, what do you boil this loss down to? If you could, 5 years from now, you're retelling someone who didn't watch this game about this Chiefs loss, how they almost had a three-peat, but they didn't win. What are the big things that stand out to you about this game?
Rushing yardage. As far as the running backs weren't getting the ball. And you guys were discussing, it's just that Mahomes was just constantly running for his life. And he was trying to get rid of the ball, but, he was holding on to it a little bit longer than he should have. But, I got to say that the Eagles defense looked good. The way that they had really, I think they actually just watched film on the Chiefs, strictly on the Chiefs. I mean, I saw when they destroyed the Commanders, I forgot what the final score was on that.
Oh, man.
But they just walked all over them, man. And then, I think the Chiefs were in their eyesight for a while, and they just kind of just watched, how the offense was running. And I think they made major adjustments. It was awesome the way they did it. And I think it just frustrated the Chiefs. And it just that they just weren't running the ball. I was looking at, I think the total rushing yardage, or as far as running the ball, I think it had to have been under 10 carries.
Yeah.
You can't win a football a game like that. Not at all.
Yeah,
you can't depend on someone's arm the whole game.
Well, we had 7 rushes from the running back, 7, and that was probably we gave some in the second half, probably more than we did in the first. And like you said, it just for me, it just didn't really make a lot of sense to attack that defense that way. But I think without a doubt, like you said, when you watch the Commanders, and I think you make a really good point. After you beat the Commanders like you did handily, that gave you a confidence. I mean, immediately you're sitting up here like, oh man, we just destroyed a team like the Commanders. What was the final score? Like 55 or something? They throw the dogs off.
I think it was like 58-30 something. It was a high scoring game.
Yeah.
But, it's almost like a basketball game.
Yeah, Will Shipley came in and got some carries and got a touchdown. Will Shipley.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like,
But I was reading like the MVP was Jalen Hurts. Actually, I think the MVP should have been their coach, the Eagles coach. I mean, I think he did a phenomenal job of making the adjustment that he needed to make.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Fangio. I will say you can even make the argument the DC Fangio could have made could have been the MVP of this game. I mean, with the scheme he cooked up against Pat today. I mean, yes, because there's a lot of reasons why it worked. Being our left tackle and left guard situation was as bad as it was, but Fangio. We talked about on our show. Mahomes was 9-0 against Fangio coach teams, and then today he wins this big one. And yeah, I mean, I give him credit. Another thing that did stand out to me today that usually when we see, when the O-line breaks down and they get that pass rushes in Mahomes' face, Mahomes can roll out of the pocket. He can get that edge, and he can get 10 yards, 15 yards down the field. He couldn't get anything. When he was getting that edge, they were just meeting him there. He wasn't able to get anything going.
Absolutely. I just think that they did their homework. I mean, they did their homework. They made those adjustments. However, I think that the Chiefs, when they went in the second half being down like they were, they should have made major adjustments. And when they came out the second half, it didn't look like they made, too much of an adjustment. They may have talked about it. They may have gotten on each other, but it really didn't filter over to the second half of making that adjustment they needed to make.
Yeah, I told Marcus I got that felt like a first half drive, just faster, just more up the pace. That's it.
Yeah,
It was the same exact
yeah.
drive, but just no huddle. I was like, okay, yeah, great. I mean, yeah, brutal.
We did get a first down on that drive, and we also got a first down.
Yeah.
Our first play of the game was a first down of Juju, and I was like, okay, we got something cooking here. And then it just went downhill after that.
And then a wall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No help from the referees.
No, they didn't help us out today. They weren't wearing the red and white stripes today. JD, I've seen a few comments of people like saying this on Twitter and in our chat. Todd Toll-Free says Mahomes needs a quarterback coach. His bad footwork is regressing and playing on time with throws. I have seen a lot of people say his footwork this year seemed a lot worse than it had been in previous years. It's kind of regressing back to his old ways. Do you notice that? Are you noticing that at all or no?
No, I think a lot of it has to do with his protection. Because a lot of it is, if you don't feel safe in the pocket, I don't care who you are, you're going to have happy feet. And any quarterback being pressured, has to move from his grass, is going to struggle. They're going to look like they got bad footwork. The thing is, when Patrick's doing his thing and it looks like magic, nobody complains. Everybody's patting him on his back when he's winning that way. And he's like, oh my gosh, you see how amazing that is? And then all of a sudden, he tries to make a play and he's running out there like, oh my, look at his bad footwork. And then all I could hear is going back to all those scouts and whatnot that were sitting there saying to Patrick Mahomes, like, why'd you take a chance on a guy like this? Who had bad footwork, who was undisciplined, who's not your prototypical quarterback. That's what I hear. And so we're talking about a quarterback that's been the most successful quarterback in the past 8 years. And we're sitting there, we don't really want to talk about his footwork. Well, what about Joe Burrows and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and all them other guys who hadn't won anything? What about them guys? What about their footwork? What are they not doing right? So it's easy for when we do lose, right, to be critical. Okay. And I think I always try to be, a little bit,
Like balanced.
Like Fox News, JD, fair and balanced, right down the middle. I'm just joking.
Yeah. I try to be at least, use a little bit of grace there and say, okay, look, let me try to be a little bit realistic about these things and be truthful about it. Is there some things that he did from here? Absolutely. The running around, I don't really like. I think he gets a little loose with the football. Some of him running for his life. And I get he's trying to make plays. Pat is trying to make plays. Pat is trying to put this game on his back to do something. He is trying to rally his troops. He's trying to do that. But like Teja was saying, all it is still the same thing he's still dealing with. They're not giving him anything to work with. So whether it might be the routes that wide receivers and tight ends are running, or if it's him being traced down by the defensive line. Charles said the same thing. These jokers, I haven't really seen a whole lot of people catch Pat from backside or behind. They was on him today. Like when Pat would take off, I said that. As soon as Pat tucked the ball, if he came down with it, let me illustrate it. So Pat's like this with the ball. As soon as he brought it down, they retraced. That's what they did. It was almost, they said, as soon as you see Pat pull the ball down, retrace, because he's taking off. And it's almost like where he catches some people off guard, taking off running the football. It was almost like they was prepared for it. With the four. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm not talking about the linebackers and safeties and corners. I'm talking about just the four defensive linemen.
Yep.
They did their homework, honestly. I mean, you could tell they were just from the get-go. I mean, it's like a continuation of the last game that they played the Eagles. It looked like a continuation to me. And it was just making adjustments that they didn't, the Chiefs making an adjustment that they didn't make. It's just, we always listen to that saying like any given Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the Sunday that was not given to them.
Yeah. I just think the Eagles had a plan to rush for until it didn't work anymore, until Pat was getting enough time to carve him up, but it never happened. Then he never had enough time to do it. So they were like, all right, I guess we're just rushing 4 all game.
Exactly.
Until you find the answer.
Yeah.
And we didn't find that answer. We didn't have one. We have one.
It kind of reminded me, what game was it earlier in the season where Kingsley was getting, it was the Bengals game. Where Kingsley was getting killed, and they still weren't helping him out. We just kept going with it. It was like, all right, maybe he'll come out of it. It's like, he's not coming out of this, dude. He's getting beat like a drum.
Right. It's getting worse, actually.
Give him a chip. Give him something. And they just wouldn't do it. Same thing today. They never even tried to adjust to that.
Right.
Well, they actually did. They tried to chip a couple times, and we still got beat.
I didn't even notice it.
We got beat. Look, we had 6 blocking and got beat with 4. One of them made a point of Travis Kelce did the little slip block. I don't know what he was thinking and got Pat. It was almost like he didn't even touch Sweat. And I'm like, what was that? Was that a called play? Is that designed? Was it supposed to be like a tight end slip screen? I didn't understand it. And it's almost like he didn't hardly put his hands on Sweat. I don't know, man. I don't know. We should look like the same team we looked like all year. We just didn't. Let me just say that. We just did not look like the same team we looked like all year. We didn't look like the same team that we went against in Buffalo. So.
And to me, it looked like that they were, it seemed like they were slower, but I'm not sure if the Eagles are faster than they are. But the offense looked like it was slower. They were not really in a sync. They weren't together like the whole game. I mean, you could tell. Like in the first half, they were out of sync. It seemed like they were practicing. And like the adjustment that they should have made in the second half, they didn't make it.
We were always reacting.
Yeah.
We were always against the ropes, it felt like. We were never getting to our like boxing game plan. We were always just against the ropes, like dealing what they were giving us.
Right.
And never adjusted to it.
Right. Yeah, it's not like Muhammad Ali doing the rope-a-dope. Muhammad Ali adjusted to that. But unfortunately, the Chiefs did. They were against the ropes and didn't adjust to it.
Yeah.
It's like your coach, your boxing coach telling, get out of the corner. Get out of the corner. And you keep going back to it. You come in, he's like, yeah, I got it. Then go right back and he's, get out of the corner. So, look, man, when I go through this film and break this thing down, I'm all the way through it, man, and kind of lay it all out there. Seriously, just kind of what was happening. And like I said before, we're dealing with just what happened today.
Yep.
Okay, this game in itself. We know we have all off season to talk about it. Teja's been doing some tremendous job already getting in the mock drafts, looking at guys and whatnot. So it's going to be really interesting, just to kind of know, because then you have to talk about what direction do the Chiefs go? What do you start looking at to get?
Combine
Right?
3 weeks away.
Yeah. What are we looking? What are the Chiefs are going to be looking for? Right? What do we have to address? There's guys we need to sign. Okay. There's guys that we need to sign. There's guys we don't quite know is going to be here or not be here. Okay. They said they want to retain a Hollywood Brown. All right. That's a question. I'm sure Travis tried to, at least sweep it under the rug, but there is the question, was he, looking to retire after this game? And is he still going to stay? So there's a lot of questions here that still need to be answered coming into this offseason. And so you just wanted everything to end on a high note. I was ready with the champagne, ready to go down the street like we were last night, with everybody like we did last year. Okay. But I'm proud of the guys. Look, I'm the first one to tell you I'm proud of this team, what they've been able to accomplish. It was an amazing thing just to be here in a position to get a three-peat, just to snip it and have it in your grasp. They had it there.
I know.
They just had to deliver.
Do you rule out ever having a three-peat again with the Chiefs? Obviously, is there any team that can do it? It can be us again, right? But do you rule it out? I mean, obviously, likelihood of it happening again is probably slim to none. But do you rule it out at all?
That's why it's so elusive. That's why it's so elusive, because it is tough. Heck, it's just tough to get there. It's just tough to get to a Super Bowl.
Let's start with one again.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Did it. Yeah.
Start the trend.
I know we'll never escape it, but I am kind of done with this whole GOAT thing. Like, whatever it is, at the end of the day, let it be. I don't want to talk about it every year when Pat's going to another Super Bowl. I don't want to hear about the Brady Mahomes thing. Obviously, we're always going to hear about this thing. Like we hear MJ and LeBron, we're always going to hear about it. But I'm so over it.
Those hot take shows you love, Marcus.
I don't want to hear about it anymore. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's your boy Stephen A. That's your boy Stephen A's show.
Yeah, I know.
They love that stuff.
That's not my boy. That's JD's boy.
That's your boy.
Stephen A. covered him.
He covered me when he was in Philly. So Stephen A.
Yeah, let me guess though. You ain't watching those tomorrow, are you, Marcus?
I will not be watching this tomorrow. I'm taking a couple days off.
Yeah, a couple days off.
Hey, man, listen. Look, we should always go in when I held up high, okay? Because of what these guys have been able to accomplish over these number of years, all right? And we shouldn't have nothing to be ashamed of. These guys have nothing to be ashamed of, okay? We've been on top for how many days, Teja?
728, I think.
728 days. I mean, come on, man. That God. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
a long time, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's amazing. I mean, you got 32 teams, football teams, and you have the two best teams that's playing in the Super Bowl. One of them has to be the Kansas City. One of them was the Kansas City Chiefs, and the other is the Eagles. You can't look at the other people that didn't make it, who probably at home watching on their TV, criticizing the teams,
hating us.
They're not there.
Yeah.
I will say, Jay, you'll find this funny. Probably about midway through the third quarter, I looked at our subscriber count. We lost like 12 subscribers. It happened when we lost the Buccaneers Super Bowl. I remember we lost like 30 during that game, and it's like people who are just like so pissed off about the Chiefs. Like I don't want to listen to Chief concerns afterwards. I'm sure we're not the only Chief channel that happened to, but I found it funny that people were just overreacting within that time and just unfollowing us.
Hey, listen, look, if people are doing that, okay, and are so emotionally led. Then they probably shouldn't follow us. This thing right here, man, this is a journey. If you're going to be loyal and whatnot, do that, okay? Root for your squad, root for your team. I don't apologize for anything I have said as far as celebrating and rooting for my guys. Not one thing. And I don't take not one word back. I meant every word of it. Every single word.
I think the subscribers that you lost, they'll come back now since the Chiefs lost.
Oh man, yeah,
You know how that is.
they'll come right back. They're like addicts.
Yeah.
a couple days off, and they'll be back.
Yeah. They'll come back to the bottle, the red bottle.
I will say one thing that the Eagles game did kind of stand out to me, just seeing the 4-man pass rush was getting to us, and we weren't really getting much pressure. Yes, we stopped Barkley, but Hurts kind of had all day back there. And I'm thinking about our drafts, because we talk about mock drafts and the combine, and we talk about what we need. We have a guy that we drafted in the first round who I don't think played tonight. I don't think FAU even played.
He did. He swatted it. He almost got the Hurts. He swatted at his arm one time. He just missed him.
But how many reps did he get tonight?
I don't know. I don't know.
He was in there a few times I saw, and just I think the only close one was the one that Teja was talking about. He got thrown passing. He had
a tackle for loss too.
We need more. He was a first round pick 2 years ago. I need from him. Karlaftis had a really good playoffs tonight. Came close a few times, but again, we always talk about getting close a deal. I mean, these guys, Josh Sweat, who's a 5th round pick for Philadelphia in 2018, he's getting.
Karlaftis had a sack.
I know, man. I'm just saying. I want to see more of some of these first round picks, because again, these drafts are very important because we're spending so much money on our top flight guys. We need to hit on these guys. These guys need to be.
Look, man, drafting last every year comes back to bite you in the ass eventually.
Yeah, that's true too.
Look at some of these guys. I mean, yeah, the Eagles got lucky on DeJean lasting to 40 overall, but Jalen Carter was top 8 pick? They had top 8 pick that year. I mean, some of their guys they had high picks on. I don't remember Quinyon Mitchell was. But yeah, it's also luck. That year is a really deep 2 prospect at his position falling right to you, right? Just because you need a deep position in the draft. I'm hoping that happens to us this year, because we have quite a few positions that we need. So left tackle's tough though. Left tackle's tough to get at 32. That's tough. You're not getting a sirloin at McDonald's, okay?
No. But you would still think, at 32, you had to be one of the top 4 or 5 tackles rated. You had to.
I know, but we've talked about in the past, man, the days of Willie Rofe are gone. They're all serviceable or above average now. So the 4th or 5th tackle in a draft, man, that's tough, man. Those Kingsley was the 5th best tackle in the draft, huh, Jason? I'm not saying right now he is, but out of the draft, he was considered, I think, the 5th best tackle in that draft.
He was moving up and down. There was other guys, but he was, I think.
Yeah, but the other guys struggled too. Guyton for Dallas struggled.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Even the top guys struggled this year, and they threw some of those guys at guard.
Yeah.
And I saw them get beat too. So I mean,
look, that's a tough spot to get. So is that something that you address during off season on a veteran guy? Do you go get a veteran guy? Is DJ Humphries the guy that's sitting there saying, look, fine, his knee what it should have been. Do we resign him? Now we have him. Now his knee is healed up. Do we stick with him now? Huh? I mean, he's got a Pro Bowl on his belt.
I mean, in a 1 year, I think we messed up by not getting a DJ Humphrey here earlier in the season. We were talking about Don Smith week 2 or 3. I mean, Kingsley's more finesse than I thought he'd be. He's kind of softer than a baby's diaper, man. I don't know about all that. You're gonna go from fierce Trey Smith to Princely? I don't know about that, but
Well, if you got him a little bit closer to you, he might do a lot better than somebody out in space. So,
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true. But right car, that's another one. Man, we have stuff to fill in.
I'm telling you, we have some things we need to address.
And we went major overcorrection the last time the O-line let us down in Super Bowl after that Bucks game.
Mhm.
So let's see if it happens again this year. We might go crazy again, trying to fix that problem.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot to get to in the offseason and the weeks ahead. On the Chief Concern Show, we'll be getting all that stuff for you. But guys, this is getting close to the closing time, as we referenced earlier on in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love you guys. It's been a great season. Now it's on to the 2025 season. But yeah, it was awesome to be able to kind of talk. And I know there were some people in here who were really down about the game, as we all were sad about it. But, heads up, off to the next one. 2025 now starts. So we'll tackle all that stuff that's going to happen this offseason. JD, you want to give us some words of wisdom as we close out here, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, it's real simple. Okay. We live to fight another day. Don't hang your head, because it was a successful season. We understand what this thing meant to get the three-peat, and we just didn't succeed at that part. But as Teja has said, being on top for 720-something days and whatever it was, being two-time Super Bowl champs, was going for the third, we should be hopeful. We should be hopeful because we still have a core group of guys there. We still have a young team. We still have the ability to get back here to the Super Bowl again. And so we should never lose sight of that. Okay. Don't let one loss define who you are. You can't. You got to just work through it. That's what you need to do. But I just want to tell everybody that has come out to us, who's watched this show, thank you very much just for your patience, just for your time, but also too, just for your input. And we appreciate you so much just for that. We can go to some of the people, and Marcus, we're going to be doing, so we'll be here during the off season, having a couple of shows, talking to you all. I'm doing my grading show tomorrow, so if you want to come see the grading show and see me mark up the paper, by all means, please come in. Okay, and I'm sure I have some other things to say, but I just want to say bye to all the Courage LK, Kansas City Area Youth, Sasha, Cuz, Brandon Parks. He said, "Go Bucks." He's a Bucks fan. He wore his little Bucks things over here. I said, "Yeah, y'all been home for a long time too." So, Neff over here, love you, Neff.
You can make the argument that the Bucks and Baker had a big hand in Philadelphia kind of whipping into shape after that playoff loss last year. The Buccaneers kind of really ramped up the Eagles, redemption this year.
I see how you moved over the Buck.
Marcus found a way to segue into a Baker comment.
Move Baker into the conversation. Like
yeah.
Look at Baker. Man, should have known that. Should have known it. That's all right. Tommy Boone, appreciate it. Coming on saying what you said, the biggest problem with the O-line, the key being the left tackle. Yep. So Todd Tofree, good seeing you, Todd. Also to About Time, good seeing you, my brother. Like always, hope your wife's doing fine. You take care of yourself as well. Keep coming back and seeing us. Greg Rose, good seeing you, Greg Rose. Zach Debling, Shirley Wiggins. What's up, Shirley? How you doing? Get past some help. Yeah, it's a good reflection for us when, putting all this thing together. And I'm glad these guys, listen, the guys have a chance now to kind of breathe and relax. Okay. It's over. All right. It's over. And when somebody says something about your Chiefs, you stand there with your chest out and chin up. You let them know we have been champs. We know who we are. Okay. And everybody been chasing us. Why, Marcus? Why, Teja? Why, Charles? When I sit there and say the Chiefs standard becomes the standard, and it always has been, it always will be in the NFL because they are the greatest. So, Little Fella Fitness, Jeremy Olson, appreciate it so much. The Barbershop, thank you so much, Barbershop, for coming in, giving your good input. Drew Boucher, thank you, Drew Boucher. Gary Hunt, good seeing you as well. Sweetie, thank you. She said bad grades for everyone. She was livid tonight. Okay. King Mo. He said throw some money at Trent Williams and Devontae Adams. I don't know, King Mo. We had to revisit that. We'll revisit it. Coach Cole, good seeing you, man. Tears in my eyes, but I'm here like a G. That's what I'm talking about. That's how there you go. Everybody, y'all take suit. Watch how Klitschko does it. Tears in your eyes, but you here like a G. We standing here proud. Let me see who else we got in here. tonight. I see Torian was in here. Cuz, good seeing you here. Tim Chapman was in here as well. Hannah, good, Hannah. Hannah, good seeing you, like always. Is 3131? Good seeing y'all talking a little bit tonight. Jacob Donabauer, appreciated Jacob for the money and the contribution, my brother. Thank you so much for that. Sweetie gave a little bit. Jason was in here tonight as well. She said hello. Let me see who else we got. Todd Ruauser. Javon Merulo. Good seeing you as well. Some names I haven't seen here before.
Yeah, Jay, we have close to 1,000 people in here tonight, so we got a lot more here tonight.
Yeah, good seeing you all. Glad y'all came by. Glad y'all found us. Okay, y'all want the stuff? Come over here.
Therapy session.
Yeah, absolutely, because everything's gonna be all right. Chiefs again. Good seeing you as well. Lenny the Cool Dawson, good to see you, man. Tom Floor, appreciate that, my guy. Appreciate it so much, man. Let me see who else we got in here. So, Randy Conley is in here as well. Thank you, Randy Conley. You know, I've said this, and I've always never forgotten it. You take criticism and praise the same. Take criticism and praise the same. Because when you're up top, people pat you on your back. Go low, people's going to doubt you. They're going to say all the worst things about you. And like you said, sometimes you might hear on these podcasts different people saying, oh, they're the worst team ever, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Don't buy into none of it. Right? Whatever we had to fix, we'll fix. Those guys don't understand that. We trust them. We trust Andy and those guys. They'll get it together. We trust PM15. Why? Because he's the greatest quarterback out there. There is. For me, he had to win a three-peat. For me, he's still better right now as the greatest quarterback. So that's why I live with it. DJ Scratch 98, good seeing you as well. Boca 87, good seeing you. Ozzy Logano, Trey L, just a reposted farewell message. Oh.
Well, it was more like, if this is the last time, thank you for the last 3 years, Kansas City, kind of thing. He said, I hope it's not the end, but if it is the end, thank you for everything. Which I think he might have a sense of something. I mean, we've drafted safeties over the last like two or three drafts. So,
right. Jared Merritt, good seeing you as well. Sarah 73, if I didn't get to say Sarah. Demetrio Spence. Mike Brennan's in here. Good to see Mike Brennan. I seen our guy in here earlier. I'm the Brown. Who else we got in here? So you said 1,000 people. Listen, hey, Hearts and Roses, good seeing you as well. Robert Shiraki, JMF, Luther Farms and Trucking. I know, look, y'all so many, it's hard to say. Double A is in here as well. Listen, y'all take care. I'm glad y'all came out for the Chiefs. The season, I know y'all was in the Wilbur with us the entire way. Okay? So we just stay there. That's what we do. We pick ourselves back up. We go back at it again. Let's give these guys a little rest. They deserve it. They put the time in and effort. But we can stand proud knowing that these guys gave it their all. Okay? They'll get it right. But with that, I'll say, hey, y'all take care. Love y'all. God bless. Y'all take care of each other. Love each other like y'all should, as we're supposed to. And with that, Marcus, Tage, my brothers, love you guys. Love you.
Hey, bud.
And I will see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you guys for letting me come on and, give a half a cent of some, as much as I could give. But I think it's half a cent more than what Tim gave. But no, I just.
Well, I love it, Charles. We had you at was it week 3 of the season? Was it week 3, week 4? When Atlanta the Falcons game, when you guys were in the car together.
Oh, yeah.
And your surprise when you came back for the surprise party, you guys did the betting show together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's nice. We had you at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and at the end of the season. So it was a nice way to close a chapter of the season,
That's
Charles.
the way it transfer. You're right.
But all right, guys. Well,
Really appreciate it, man. I love the show. I'm a subscriber and I'm staying.
there you go. There you go.
Teja, Marcus.
Love you, Charles.
Love you guys, man.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow night for JD's.
Don't hate. Don't hate. Don't hate. Don't hate.
All right, fellas.
All right,
All right. Love
See you
y'all.
guys.
Y'all take care.
Love
Good
y'all.
night, everybody.
Later on.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.